Tonight, a beloved coach is gunned down and becomes the first homicide case for 2020. The community of Cedars is plunged into mourning after the violent loss of one of their own. And the Prime Minister doubles down yet again regarding his opposition to Janine Compton-Antoine serving the St. Lucia National Trust. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Monday, the 13th of December 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM Radio. You can watch via our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com, on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, or on our Caribbean Hot TV Facebook page. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. As the Royal St. Lucia Police Force records the first homicide for the year 2020, a government minister remembers the life of famed coach Cassius Glasgow. He spent his life devoted to bettering the lives of inner city youth through sports. Fortuna Belrose says the island has lost a true leader.
Minister for Culture and the Creative Industry, Senator Fortuna Belrose, has joined the masses who have expressed great sadness and shock over the island's very first homicide for the year 2020. The victim, Cassius Glasgow, who was affectionately known as Cassie Boom, played a major role in the lives of inner city youth, particularly from the Marshall community, by mentoring, counseling, and keeping them off the dangerous streets through football. Speaking about the moment when she heard the shocking news of Glasgow's death on Monday morning, during a pre-cabinet press briefing, Belrose said she was disheartened.
For me, it shook me this morning, because this is a young man who has given his life to youth, and working with young people and teaching them skills in sports and teaching them values, of self-confidence, and being able to find themselves very early in life. And so it is really sad when things like that happen. I just hope the perpetrators are caught at the earliest. And it is so sad. But we don't have the details of this. And so my thing would be to extend sincere condolences to the family, as well as the members of the sporting fraternity and all the young men and women he impacted in such a meaningful way in the community.
Following the press briefing, Hot 7 News sat with Public Relations Officer of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Corporal Ann Joseph, who gave the brief details of the gruesome crime. At the time of the interview with the corporal, police was still at the scene of the crime, piecing together the evidence needed to solve it.
About 8 a.m. today, Monday the 13th of January 2020, the body of Cassius Glasgow was discovered at his residence in Cedars Castries with an apparent gunshot injury. This is the first recorded homicide for the year 2020.
Friends and family and sympathizers of the late Glasgow have expressed anger over photographs circulating showing the victim lying naked in a pool of his own blood. Persons are calling for individuals to show some discretion and respect towards the deceased. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Meanwhile, the community of Cedars has been shaken to its core by the violent killing of Cassius Glasgow. Community members remember him as a pillar who kept the youth engaged in positive activities. They are demanding swift justice for Glasgow.
We are here on site of the first homicide for the year, Cassius Glasgow of Cedars Castries. A touching scene has unfolded where members of the community and family members cannot hold back the tears.
And you can see yes, now because let's go to the same church together. Here is in a Christian home. Well, Cassibum was a really nice person, a loving, giving person. What I mad about Cassibum the most, Cassibum would take children from all walks of life. He would take them, train them, tell them stay off the streets, stay away from violence. He would bring them on the field, would train them with my grandson to train. Yeah, Cassibum, my God, what else can I say about Cassibum? Was just a loving, giving person, helpful person, down-to-earth person.
This morning, my daughter came to my room and she said, Mommy, I have something to tell you. But since her son is so close to Cassius, she told me, let him put her with him. So all I hear, she said, in the house. So I thought, what happened? She said, Mommy, I think they killed Cassius in the house. Because Tabak said when he reached his they slammed the door. I don't know what they did. I came there. Daddy! When I entered there, I
Daddy, let vengeance be done. No, you say vengeance is yours, my God.
or what?
My God, show yourself,
When I went to his room, they searched the room, they searched the cupboard. There's only one
You don't deserve time like that, Lord. You don't deserve it, my
but all
God.
the others, they opened all of them and searched.
I used to live in that same house there with Cassius. Never had no problem with him, you know. Yeah, he was the man that used to come and go. He never used to trouble nobody. Nobody never come after him. Therefore, how many years if nobody never trouble him? Nobody at all never come after him. Like down and then used to owe nobody. You know, down, I don't know, down and there are certain times he used to tell me, well, boy, you wouldn't come up the road with any money. You know, in fear of people robbing him, you know. So if he had any money, he would disperse it before he come up the road, you know, and stuff like that. And yet still I don't know why. Why? And he has a man always for the youths. Always for the youths, always have youth programs and stuff like that. You know, and a lot of youths go missing, you know, because now used to be all up north with the youths going for sponsors and all kind of thing, you know, and he did the youths, helping the youths. Now that was a positive way of having the youths off the streets, you know. And look now, they take somebody life that used to have a lot of youths off the streets, you know, doing something that's positive. And what next? As the young lady is saying, I hope when they get, I just want them to get all evidence and no lack of evidence. I just want them to get the killers, you know, because the man don't deserve that.
After speaking with members of his family, friends, and neighbors of the deceased, we understand fully that this man has been a very good influence on his community and many of the nation's students, keeping several young persons off of the streets. His loss has been a loss to the nation. We'll continue to follow this story and hope to find justice for Cassius Glasgow. For 7 News, I am Jacqueline.
The seizure of an automatic rifle from a male in Mondador over the weekend is garnering praise from the island's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet. The weapon, which has been described as a high-powered rifle, was discovered in the vehicle of a Bocage resident. The PM called the discovery alarming. However, he praised the overall find and the efforts of the officers of the police force.
Like we're moving in the right direction with regards to the arm that was machine gun that was confiscated this weekend. Alarmed at the size of the guns that are available on the ground. It means that the effort that we're making right now to beef up our police force is absolutely needed and make sure that there is a fair match that's taking place in the streets. But I'm also grateful that the security check systems and the in heightened and increased traffic checks that we're doing, that it resounded into that kind of result.
Prime Minister Chastanet says steps have been taken to increase security levels on the streets. This, he said, is a move that will play a significant role in crime fighting.
We have signed the agreement with Digicel, and there is an additional 535 cameras that we're about to implement, which will be from Grosley to Castries as well as in Vieux-Fort area in total. So we already have 95 of them that are on the highway between Grosley and Castries. I think this is going to go a long ways in being able to assist us both in traffic management, but more importantly in terms of the criminal activity that's taking place in our country.
Meanwhile, the Public Relations Officer of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Corporal Anne Joseph, gave the details of the seizure.
About 8:40 p.m. on Saturday, the 11th of January 2020, officers conducted a joint operation at Mondador and Castries, and a vehicle was stopped and searched. Ronnie Montout, a 32-year-old resident of Bocage, Castries, was arrested for having been found in possession of a Smith & Wesson .22 rifle. He has since been charged for the offense of unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition, and he is actually being escorted to the First District Court today, Monday, the 13th of January 2020, for a bail hearing.
Corporal Joseph said the severity of the charges preferred against the male suspect will be entirely up to the discretion of the presiding judge or the magistrate overseeing the case. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is keeping his stance on the ongoing tensions between himself and the St. Lucia National Trust over the refusal to allow former member of government Janine Compton-Antoine from heading the trust. He says in the end, the Constitution does and will stand on the matter.
The saga continues between the island's Prime Minister and the St. Lucia National Trust, where Prime Minister Alan Chastanet refused to appoint former Government Minister Janine Compton to the post of Executive Director of the SLNT. Although it was revealed that Compton was selected after a rigorous process and a letter was written to the PM asking for her approval, she was refused. In direct response, Compton was hired in a senior position with hopes that further advocacy would prove successful. However, during a Monday morning pre-cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet said his position on the matter has not changed.
The act of the National Trust is very clear, requires my approval. And nowhere in the act does it say that I have to give a reason for it. But I was very clear and very transparent and accountable to everybody in giving you several reasons. You're the ones who keep on putting in this idea that she was political. The politics came in to say that she has been involved in politics and she has run against my government. That doesn't disqualify her. But the fact is, it's a fact. So you're taking a situation in which you have a very difficult relationship under the best of circumstances, because one is a conservation entity and you have government which wants to develop. And so this is not new for St. Lucia, that the National Trust and its governments would have difficulties. But there's a mechanism to be able to solve that. That mechanism is about dialogue and it's about mutual respect.
The PM said he has taken steps to prove to the SLNT that he holds no grudges against them. On the other hand, he said he believes that he made the right decision.
That's why I took the initiative to go and have a presentation, a meeting or a presentation to the National Trust in order for them to, again, to see that I have no animosity. I get it, that this is a difficult thing, and we have to be able to work through it. I just don't believe that Janine Compton is the best person suited for that job. And what I'm certainly not going to, I want to use my words carefully, what I am not going to encourage or what I would not be happy with is any attempt to breach the spirit of what the act is.
The SLNT indicated that in the absence of outgoing Trust Director Bishnu Tulsi, Compton would be stepping in to fill his shoes temporarily, thus rendering the PM's non-appointment null. In response, the PM had this to say.
Well, the Act speaks to that. The Act says that if a person, the director needs to get the approval of the minister, as well as anybody who's acting.
In the end, it would seem that the scores are PM 2, SLNT 0. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the quick action of neighbors ensures that an elderly man was kept out of harm's way from a fire that engulfed his home. External Affairs Minister Sarah Flood-Bobra is cautioning St. Lucians to be on their guard during this time of growing tensions between the U.S. and Iran. And Prime Minister Chastanet says though he is hopeful of the abilities of LIAC's new chairman, that's the former Barbados Prime Minister Owen Arthur, he says St. Lucia will be making no investments in the airline. That and more coming up.